Hey everybody, it's Christopher Small, the owner of CMS Law Firm. We do estate planning, we do probate, we do it well. Today, I want to talk to you about 3 reasons you should not give your kids an inheritance. Before I get to that though, I want to remind you, if you have questions about this or anything else related to estate planning or probate, and you want to talk with us over the phone for free, you can do so by going to cmslawfirm.com. Okay. 3 reasons you should not give your kids an inheritance. I must admit, the title of this video is slightly clickbaity. I don't literally mean not to give your kids anything. What I'm really talking about is the way in which you give it to them to sort of increase the chances that those assets are going to actually be used for good and not lost in some way that you probably do not want them lost, okay? All right, first reason that you should not give your kids an inheritance is because they often are not really well equipped to handle it, quite frankly. Unless they are making a significant amount of money on their own, they're sort of getting a big chunk of money is usually not going to equate to long-term wealth, to growth, to legacy, because they don't have the tools or the experience or the education to know what to do with things. The example that I always give is like pro athletes, right? They go broke all the time, and what the story you usually hear is that they spent it on like strip clubs and bottle service, okay? But the truth is, a majority of those pro athletes go broke because they made really, really bad investment decisions. There is a reason you have to make a certain amount of money or have a certain amount of assets to invest in certain kinds of deals. It's because the idea is, unless you have figured out how to accumulate those kinds of things or make that kind of money, you don't have the tools to make good choices, and you are likely to be scammed. This is the case with your kids, unfortunately. Unless you do a good job of sort of training them how to make good investment choices, of educating them, of maybe pulling them in on deals if you're making those deals, okay? That is reason number 1. Reason number 2 is that when you give your kids an outright inheritance, the chances that it is going to be lost to the biggest creditor of all time is quite high. The biggest creditor of all time is divorce, okay? And if your inheritance is given to your kids and those assets are commingled, right? If they are put together with the assets of their spouse and then they get divorced, often those assets are going to be split up equally amongst those 2 parties. We do not want that to happen, okay? So by keeping your inheritance in a trust, which is sort of the solution to these problems, then you will be able to avoid splitting everything, your hard-earned assets, with the former spouse of your child, okay? And then third and finally is that while an inheritance that goes outright to your children is not protected from life's unfortunate circumstances. What are we talking about? Bankruptcy, lawsuits, okay, these kinds of things. Assets that remain in trust are protected from those things. Those assets can still be utilized by your children without having to be in their hands specifically. So I would really strongly consider not giving your kids inheritances outright, particularly if you have significant assets. They're typically not going to be invested or utilized properly. They are often going to be lost to relationships that break up, and they are subject to bankruptcy and lawsuits and things like that you, quite frankly, can happen to anyone if you're unlucky. So consider that, all right? You don't have to make a trust with me, but make a trust with somebody, all right? That is it for today. That is today's lessons. Hopefully this made sense. I'm having these conversations all the time, so I just want to talk about it. Okay, so if you have questions or comments, please leave them. I'm happy to answer them. I'm happy to respond. If you have specific questions about your own personal sort of things and you want to talk about them privately, you can do so by going to cmslawfirm.com, set up a time to talk with us over the phone for free. And that's it. That's it for today. As always, I am Christopher Small. I am the owner of CMS Law Firm. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I appreciate you. And I will talk to you again soon. See ya.